Do you, do you know?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Monday Night Rants, October 22nd, 2018. That's right, Monday Night Rants, the 854th watched show on Monday nights. Sport podcast, that is. I'd like to thanks everybody for joining along with us tonight. And, you know, today is my mother's birthday, so shout out to my mom. Happy birthday, moms. Hope you had a good one. I know she wasn't feeling a little under the weather, so hopefully she's doing much better. So we're going to go out later this week to celebrate. She's still young. She's 38. Yep, young mom. That's right. I love you, Mom. Hope you're feeling better. We'll hang out, get some Indian food or something later this week and celebrate. Yes. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Hope you enjoyed that wonderful football game that consists of nothing happening for a long time. And the announcers of Jason Witten and Boogie McFarland and whoever the other guy is continue to be terrible. I did learn one thing, though, tonight watching the game, is that Boog does not do Formula One. Boog has to draw the line somewhere. And he draws the line at Formula One. So if you ever run into Booger McFarland anywhere and ask him, hey, man, do you want to go check out a Formula One race with me? Boog doesn't do Formula One. So don't even ask him. That's what I learned from the listening to those guys talk for way too long on that game. But hey, the Atlanta Falcons still have a fighting chance, I guess, in a tough division. But, it's kind of a tough conference too. But, they can put some wins together. Sneaking as a wild card is still possible. The Giants, well, that was some of the worst play calling I've seen to end a game, time management I've ever seen in a long time. 2 straight quarterback sneaks, because that works. When the time's running out, you need 2 scores. I mean, it's a genius idea, right? Don't hand it off to, I don't know, your first-round pick back, or, throw the ball to Odell, or anybody else, for that matter. Let's try to run it up the middle twice with Eli and see what happens. Well, it only took about 50 seconds off the clock and 2 downs. So, congratulations on that. You deserve it. And guess what, Giants fans? Guess what? Justin Herbert ain't coming to the draft this year. No. Reports are that Herbert is going to stay at Oregon for his senior year, and they'll be a national title contender next year. But also, there are very little quarterbacks in this year's draft compared to the last couple of years. If Herbert's gone, now you got Greer and Locke, and that's about it. And they are both flawed. So good luck with that. Good luck with all that noise. So I said on the show that, or on the Twitter and the Facebook and all that I had something sad about the show I wanted to talk to everyone about. And it's going to break my heart a little bit, and I have to say it. And this is something I've been thinking about. And, just like a football team and this show, they're kind of the same thing. They're both like a lot of work. There's a lot of stuff going behind the scenes. You think you got something great, and it's not. So you kind of have to shuffle, just like in football. The show's the same way. And it's like it's just not all the way there. So you got to make changes. We moved from Friday to Monday. Some other teams do some other changes, and it's the same type of thing. So I kind of try to treat this show as like a football team. It's just so much work and a lot of my time, just like in football, a lot of work and a lot of time there too. And just changes had to be made. So, and I've talked this over with my wife and asked her what she thought about and what I should do with this. And, again, the same with football. So same with the football team, things change. So, man, this is really tough because, this really means a lot to me. And, and this is something I've loved to do for so long. And it's just every day I get pride and joy just from knowing that I have this or I can do this. And it just really hearts me to say, and to all of you and everyone out there, that I will no longer be talking crap on the Raiders anymore. That's right. I am no longer going to talk crap on the Raiders on the show tonight. That's what it is. And it hurts me inside because that is one of my favorite things to do in life is to talk mad crap on the Oakland Raiders. But today, they went ahead and did what they did, and I can't talk crap. They had to make changes. It wasn't working. Just like us moving from Thursday to Monday, you got to get rid of Khalil Mack. Get your first-round picks. Start to rebuild. Build the Gruden team that he wants, not what other people got. So I will not be talking crap on the Raiders during the whole show, something that I love to do, and I'm deeply, deeply saddened by. What do you guys think I was going to say? Come on. Talking crap on the Raiders is one of my favorite things to do. I'm not going to do it because I think it was a smart move. I did hear, though, that Amari Cooper already dropped his flight to Dallas, so he's going to miss it. I said I wasn't going to talk crap on the Raiders. Amari Cooper is no longer a Raider. He also dropped his phone, so he's not getting any text either. His girlfriend had him carry a pie from the refrigerator, and he dropped that on the ground too. So, oh, what's that? Oh, what was that loud crashing noise? Oh, I think he just dropped whatever he was holding in the background. Okay, so Amari Cooper is going to the Dallas Cowboys. That was the big trade of the day for another first rounder. Gruden gets to build his team. It's going to take a few years. And great trade. A first rounder. A first rounder for Amari Cooper. Wow. I don't like to say the R word, and I'm not going to. But wow, that was the R word. That was, give me your first rounder. You could turn into a solid D, especially, the Cowboys, where I don't expect them to go over 8-8. So it'll be a mediocre to better pick. And I just feel that they won that trade. Like the Khalil Mack trade, I think they got a lot out of it too. Yes, Khalil Mack is a beast. And first round picks for the Raiders since 2004. This is not talking trash. This is just facts. Since 2004, all the first round picks the Raiders have had, only 2 of them have made the Pro Bowl. Both of them happen to be Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper. Not talking crap. That's a fact. They're both gone. So, Amari Cooper's gone for a first rounder. You got 2 first rounders out of Khalil Mack, and you got your first round pick this year, which, let's be real, this is another fact. I'm not talking crap. This is a fact. We'll be higher up in the draft. So, kudos to Gruden, building his team, doing his thing, on his way to winning a Super Bowl in 2026. That's right. Calling it. 2026. They will make the Super Bowl. So that's all I had to say. That's all I was doing. Just trying to have fun with everyone. Just trying to make you guys think I was going to call it quits on the show. But I'm not calling it quits on this show. Not yet. Not unless they drag me out of the studio half dead. Or the internet goes down because Terminators are taking over the world or something. That'd be the only way that would happen. By the way, if you haven't caught last week's In Trust Me Sports podcast yet, it was the emoji for fire. That's the emoji for fire right there. I can't do it because I'm on camera, but there you go, fire. It was awesome. Check it out each week. It's a little bit different from this show. It's a lot more. It's really me just sitting back and listening to Anthony talk and me just blah instead of me talking. It was fun. I had a good time doing it. We'll do more of those. Thanks everyone for all your support on that too. More to come in that aspect. We're going to build a whole platform here. No more of this stats, boring, stats. No more of that. No. We're doing straight up fun sports radio, fantasy radio. And by the way, a new slogan I have for all you fantasy sports players out there. It's not how you draft, it's how you finish. Boom. Remember that one. All right, let's move on. We're going to talk about, I think I did enough for the game tonight. That's over and done with, right? Oh, man, the Monday Night Football and Thursday Night schedulers should be fired, all of them. And thank God we have flex scheduling on Sunday night, or else all the nightly games would be terrible. But hey, the Chargers got London. So that was fun. Nothing like waking up at 6 a.m. to see a football game on a Sunday. Anyway, so we're going to move on. We have our full NBA preview tonight, which is going to be incredible because we're all going to have the same team winning the championship unless someone pulls some. I want Anthony to say Celtics just because it would just make my day. I can't talk crap on the Raiders, but I can talk crap on the Golden State Warriors. That's on the table, on the cards tonight, but it's kind of hard to when they're up 25 at halftime tonight to a Suns team that, let's face it, I don't think are ever going to be any good again. And also, I guess we could talk about the World Series. I mean, come on. Dodgers and Boston. I have Boston in 7. I can go 7. Only because Boston won't know what to do when they don't have a DH. Who are they going to play where? They lose that extra power. It's going to hurt them. Let's be honest. It's going to hurt them. And guess what? In National League parks this year, where they couldn't play the DH, they were terrible. So boom. Let's see how that plays out. So I say 7. All the home teams win. That's my prediction. And because we're going to put JD Martinez, he's a defensive liability. I'm going to play him out there in the outfield and let Puig hit him a ground ball. Hopefully he can throw him out a second. I mean, come on. So we'll see what happens there. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But first, let's get the guys in here and let's talk about some Week 7 stuff that happened over the weekend. We'll keep football going a little bit. But I'm not going to sit here and bore you guys anymore with all this blah, blah, blah. This game was like that. This game was that. I thought that got a little boring and a little not prepared and a little weak, in my opinion. And I'm sorry I did that to you guys. So I'm going to change it up a little bit. All we're going to do is say what teams impressed us and what teams pretty much were on their knees sucking balls over the week. That's what we're going to do. Plain and simple. We're not going to talk about the Rams. We all know they're good. The Chiefs, blah, blah, blah. We're going to talk about the teams that impressed and why, and teams that didn't. And then we're moving right on into our NBA week late preview. Why is it a week late? Because I wanted it to be. So deal with it, people. Also, we will answer questions. So ask all the questions you want, as long as they're not, stupid. And, And here's what I want to tell you guys, everybody on the chat right now. Everybody on the chat right now. All of you. Justin. All you listeners who are here. Jesse. All you people that are here every week. I want you to know what I said. I said I will not talk crap on the Raiders during the show tonight. What I didn't say is you guys are not allowed to. So feel free on chat to talk all the crap on the Raiders you want. And just give me a little laugh or something, just so I could laugh along in my head. I won't agree with you tonight out loud, but it'll be fun. This show's going to be fun. So let's get it going. Let's bring in Anthony and Josh. What's going on, gentlemen? Welcome to the show.
Hey, I like your whole stance on not talking smack on the Raiders. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, you like that, huh?
It's very gentleman-like of you.
Were you guys a little scared I was going to say something else, or did you have an idea?
Dude, I had no idea. I thought you were going to drop an atomic bomb or something right now. I was literally, my hands were under me. I was just scared shitless right now.
Yeah. Anthony's over there going, well, what am I going to do on Monday nights? Just drink beer by myself?
Well, I do that every other night.
I know. I only have Monday nights. Only night. I don't do that.
Come on, I got to mix it up. Oh, man. But you had me going. That was pretty good. I will give you that. But still, even you can admit Raiders made a good move today. They went out and pretty much they're breaking down the house all the way to the bare frame right now.
Mm-hmm. They're what you don't see often in football is you don't see teams doing this mid-season, at least. They're literally calling it quits. They're literally saying, we're done. We're rebuilding. And we're starting in the middle of the season. That's crazy. You don't see that a lot in the NFL. It's happening this year. A few questions I got to answer real quick before they go lost. Thoughts on the Hyde to Jacksonville trade? Who's worth starting in Jacksonville? Nobody. I wouldn't stay away from Yeldon and him right now for at least a week to see what happens. Because I don't know what they're going to do there. Nobody does. My thoughts are it's going to be kind of a Hyde, kind of like a Fournette role, and then TJ Yeldon getting a lot of passing down work, but I would just stay away from him and just wait till Fournette comes back. And Hyde was, he had a couple of big runs and some big games in Cleveland, but his yards per average is very, very terrible. So let's keep that in mind too. And then Yeldon, he's a passing back, and they don't have a passer, so I'd stay away from them both. Justin agrees that fantasy sports is all about how lucky or unlucky you get with injuries. That isn't true. It's about how you pick up and use the waiver wire to your advantage and being a week ahead of everybody else. I've mentioned that on the show before. Ripon says, you got a nice voice. Well, thank you, Ripon. Thank you. No.
Oh, who's this Ripon guy?
I don't know. His
nice
name.
voice.
And Paul Martinez asks again, is Nick Chubb the real deal? Yes. I think Nick Chubb is a top 10 running back the rest of the way in fantasy. All right. Back to where we were. Where were we?
Raiders.
Hey, give us a couple years when we're in Vegas. We're going to get the things rolling. We're going to have a brand new quarterback, a brand new everybody. Everybody except John Gruden will be on that team in 2 years.
Yeah.
So
I think
get ready.
I think it's his team forever.
Dude,
And I don't think he'll ever get fired. They made that decision before the next year, or they traded him, and then the next year he beat them in the Super Bowl. I don't think they'll ever do that again.
Especially when you give a guy $100 million.
Yeah, they're giving him the reins and saying, you make your team. And he says, you know what, it may take 2 or 3 years, and they say, that's fine. That's exactly what they're doing. They're not even Oakland Raiders anymore. They're already the Vegas Raiders. That's exactly what it is.
They're the Las Vegas Grudens right now.
Yes.
He's going to trade the Raider name pretty soon, watch, for a 6th-round pick.
I can't read it out loud, but you guys should check out the chat real quick because there's Raiders shit coming in. And I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Wasn't me. Bring
Las Vegas Grudens, not Las Vegas Screw Thems, right?
Yes, yeah, no, just bring the Raiders jokes. Keep them going on the chat. I am not allowed to talk crap on the Rants today, but you guys all are, so bring them on. That was a good one. Thank you, Justin, for that. I can't agree with you, but that's funny. Okay, so moving on from the Raiders, we all agree that trade was good for them and bad for the Dallas Cowboys, right? Let's move on to the Dallas Cowboys real quick. What are they doing? First round pick for Amari Cooper.
I have no idea. You know, he still has another year and a half on his contract, but you're pretty much saying you're going to pay him $13.5 million next year when you have guys like Jarvis Landry, you have guys like Antonio Brown making a couple million more than he will next year. So unless they sign him to a long-term deal, they literally gave a first-rounder for 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But in other words, though, they were also filling that out. They said 5 other teams were going to give a first-round pick for Amari Cooper. So they're doing exactly the same thing. But they need that wide receiver because all they have is, Cole Beasley or, it's really thin. Gallup, maybe? So
Alan Hearns.
But even Hearns doesn't even show up. So really, what are you looking at? You need somebody that needs to make a play now so they can make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, but Cooper is not the type of receiver that Dak Prescott is good at throwing to. Cooper's a down the field threat, and Dak Prescott is more of a play action, hit you 15 yards. You know, he misses Jason Witten more than anything. I think the Witten retiring is worse than losing Bryant or any of those because that was where he liked to go. Amari Cooper's not that guy because guess who is? Alan Hearns. Where has he been this year? That's what Gallup did when he was at Colorado State. You know, he had a great game last week, but other than that. So they pretty much got the same type of receiver they already have who has drop issues. How is that helping him? I don't think it is. I think it's a terrible decision. But, Jerry Jones knows best because Cowboys are America's team. So, America, enjoy the drop balls. If Dak Prescott ever gets the ball to him.
Yeah, it's rough. This is a move of desperation. I think this is a way for them to not only look good in the fan base, hey, we're bringing this Amari Cooper guy, but to kind of deter all the attention from Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett's been getting a lot of heat the last couple of weeks. That loss yesterday, time management was horrible. So for them, Jerry Jones loves to sell tickets. This is going to sell them tickets. It's going to get people excited. But long term, I don't know. This is going to be definitely one to look down the road to see what happens. I don't see it similar to Brandon Cooks, like when the Rams traded for him for a first-round pick. This is potentially going to hurt the Cowboys, not only for their draft picks, but financially as well.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you there, too. All right, we're moving on. Let's see. The surprise Week 7 teams will make this quick because I know everyone wants to hear about our NBA stuff. So I know, Anthony, you had a few. I think we all have are around the same type of teams that really, impressed us. Not surprising, more just impressed us this week. And then also we'll do our fail teams, like to call them. The teams that sucked balls. I'm going to go ahead with mine first. And, they're already impressive. They're 6-1. Or 5-1. I think they had a bye already. But the New Orleans Saints, to go into Baltimore and win a low-scoring, grind-it-out type of game, that's something that they've missed over the last few years. I think the reason why they haven't had that next step to the Super Bowl has been for that reason. They're so used to these, high-scoring, we're going to outscore you, but just to play great defensively and do just enough against a good defensive team and just getting the luck of the best kicker in the world to miss an extra point for the first time in his career. But still, they grinded out, got the win. I think the Saints really impressed me with that, and to that, they look more like a Super Bowl contender than they did before the game.
Oh, definitely. I think, like you said, these are these ugly wins. You know, good teams find a way to win, and the Saints did there. And it's going to be a huge win down the road, especially a win against a Ravens team who pretty much are dominant at home. So to do that is pretty damn good.
Yep.
Yeah,
Josh, you agree with that? Do you have any, or Anthony, what are your surprise teams over the weekend?
Oh, man, I don't want to say it, but you know what? I was one of those guys. The Raiders had a bye week, so I got to watch a lot of football from everybody else, and I got up at 5:45, got my coffee out, and I figured, you know what? I know there's going to be another guy in Fresno watching this game, so I'll get up and check out the hype. But the Los Angeles Chargers, they traveled the furthest to this game. Making that trip to London is not easy, especially when you're pretty much the furthest team out. That's like a over 5,000-mile trip to play in a different time zone. And then on top of it, to find out the morning of or the night before that your MVP, Melvin Gordon, will not play in the game, you're stacked behind the 8 ball. And Phillip Rivers, both the Williams twins receivers, they went out, dominated the first half. The Titans played keep away in the second half, and the Chargers defense rose to the occasion twice for that 2-point conversion, which I'm still questioning that call to begin with by Mike Vrabel. But to do that and win that kind of gritty game with – I think they only ran they ran like 20-some plays in that second half. It was crazy. I hate hyping this Chargers team, but you know, if we keep giving the hype to these Patriots for doing what they're doing, the Chargers have to be in the mix this next game coming up. They're going to have a pretty easy stretch the next 4 weeks, so we could be looking at a 9-2 team pretty damn soon.
I like that. I like that a lot. Sorry, I'm laughing, but the Raiders comments here are pretty good, but
how can I be hyping up the Chargers and I'm getting bashed on Facebook? This is not right.
You're not getting bashed at all. They're just have their opinions about the Raiders. That's all.
And I'll say for mine, I guess my one was kind of a surprise and given a lot of credit for is the Carolina Panthers winning on the road against the Eagles, getting their first win on the road. They're 4-2, and that's with McCaffrey not really producing. All the other guys had to come up, really, really do it, and score 21 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Eagles is a lot to do.
Yeah, Eagles are in a little bit of trouble. More on that later, but I agree with you there. That's impressive. And, you know, the Carolina Panthers are kind of that team that we all forget about. And they seem to always be there towards the end. I mean, Cam Newton he has this weird switch, which is I've never seen a quarterback. And it's not like the normal, like, Aaron Rodgers switch, like, oh, we're behind, we got to throw. It's just like this weird, like, all of a sudden, next thing you know, they score 21 points in a quarter. You're like, how the hell did they even do that? But, yeah, look out for them. I think they're going to be in play going forward, at least maybe even as a wild card, where some of these other teams don't produce like we thought they were. My other surprise team of the week, and I'll be quick on this. I'm not surprised, but impressed. And that is, they're still out of this division. But the Indianapolis Colts. Yeah, I know they played Buffalo, but think of the couple teams that Buffalo has surprisingly beat when they shouldn't have. And they went there, well, not to Buffalo, but at home, and they took care of business, and they got their running backs going. Marlon Mack had a huge game on the ground, and Buffalo has been not too bad against the run. So Marlon Mack coming there. Luck is playing at a high level. He is quarterback 3 right now in all of fantasy, guys. Andrew Luck. So, I mean, they have a chance, and they impressed me all the way around, offensively and defense against that Buffalo team. And they can keep something like that going, and that division stays as close as it is, and Jacksonville keeps on doing what they're doing. And, you know, you never know. So that's another one of mine.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. A sleeper one that I have kind of that same token with the Colts, someone they're kind of struggling, but they're still winning games. Houston Texans. I just heard this morning they had to bus Deshaun Watson from Houston all the way to Jacksonville because of his whole was it his lung injury? They were scared about him flying?
Yeah, yep, because he has a partial collapsed lung.
Right.
So you're talking about like Rocky Balboa stuff. They're busting this guy to the game. He's hobbling in. He didn't have the greatest game fantasy-wise, but to go in and beat a team which I thought Jacksonville was going to come out guns a-blazing, but instead Blake Bortles did enough to almost lose his job in Jacksonville.
Well, he may have.
Stir up. You know what? I don't want to get the Raider rumors going, but Jacksonville's at a situation now where they got a team that can compete, and they're.
I was talking about
Kessler.
I wasn't talking about anything else. Just so you know.
You know what? You're just playing me like a fiddle right now. I don't like it. Smiling over there like a schoolgirl.
I'm just reading what people are saying. It's just funny. People make me laugh.
Man, but you know what? Yeah, the Texans go out. Now they look like when everybody was giving.
They started 0-3 or 0-4?
I think they were 0-2, and I think they won 4 straight. So maybe they're.
I think they're 4-3 now, or do they have a bye?
They're 4-3.
So they won 4 in a row. So they've won 4 in a row. So it's no joke.
And they're still not playing on full cylinders offensively. So once Deshaun Watson and all them kind of get together, Jacksonville might be looking its way out right now.
I think you're right. The defense has been lit up. That's the problem when you have defense. Everyone has to be on the same page. In Jacksonville, it seems like all those hot heads they have there just aren't on the same page. They got good. They were good last year, but it's starting to fall apart. And the more they start losing, when you have those type of people or players all in the same locker room, they start resenting each other, and then they don't play as a team as much, and then the defense starts becoming a little Swiss cheesy. And I think that, and having a guy like Jalen Ramsey, who is pretty vocal and pretty, I like to call him the Odell Beckham Jr. of the defense, is going to be a burden in that locker room. So I wouldn't be surprised if they don't even make the playoffs at this point.
Oh, no, yeah. When you're winning and you're talking, it's great. Everybody loves you. When Jalen Ramsey was talking, the preseason, it was great because they're supposed to be good. Now when you start losing, that trash talk looks horrible.
Looks bad. Look at Le'Veon Bell last year.
And talk about that Jalen Ramsey. How about that catch that Hopkins had over him?
Yeah.
Oh, that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. But Hopkins does that to everybody. But still, I don't like Jalen Ramsey. I think his mouth is way too big. It's bigger than his ego, and his ego is so big too. So that's even crazier. But imagine having a big mouth and big ego. Jeez. And you know what? The more and more I just see him and see what he's doing, I don't have any hope for there, Anthony.
There's no hope for there. Oh man.
I think what's going to happen with Jalen Ramsey is the same thing that happened with Josh Norman. He's just going to phase out. You're not going to hear.
But Josh Norman's playing great football this year for the Washington Redskins.
But what I'm saying is, they're quiet. He's quiet compared.
Yeah, much quieter now. Moving on, let's go with our lames, our fail teams. Who did not impress you this weekend?
Oh man,
Anthony, who do you got
tough
first?
One. I was hoping, I had high hopes that somebody would finally beat the Chiefs, shut down Patrick Mahomes, Edward Rouse's favorite quarterback.
I have that same hope every week. It never happens.
It's a hope we have every week, and every week it seems like we're wrong. But the Cincinnati Bengals, they had a chance to have a statement game. The Ravens lost. The Steelers were on bye. They were on the big show, Sunday Night Football. And not only could they not score stop them defensively, but that offense just sputtered. Andy Dalton looked like the Andy Dalton of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Boyd was missing. AJ Green had a great game, but just all around, the Bengals just pooped out on the national stage. So it was kind of depressing to see. And
against the worst defense in the NFL, too.
And that's the worst part.
Yeah.
You think it would have been a shootout and the Bengals, outlasting the Chiefs, but, your boy, Patty Mahomes, keeps on doing what he keeps on doing.
For me, I'm going to go in the same division to the Browns, because you're talking about the Buccaneers, who gives up one of the most points in the NFL, and they can't finish.
Yeah. Well, they get close to finishing, but then can't, because that's the fourth overtime game they've had this year. They're 1-2-1 and only in overtime. That's terrible.
Absolutely.
4 overtimes. It's like so close, but I mean, that was a pretty amazing, almost 60-yard kick to win it. I think all the memes from Mr. Mayfield's face were pretty hilarious that I saw yesterday of his surprised face. It's really good. But I mean, come on, they're the Browns. I mean, do we expect anything more or less than that? They had a great defense the first couple of weeks. The last couple, ever since that Raider game, their defense hasn't been as good, nearly as good.
Well,
And
fantasy-wise, they still put up 14 points fantasy-wise against the Buccaneers.
Oh, because they had a defensive touchdown, right? Oh, and you're going up against Jameis Winston. Anytime you go up against Jameis Winston, you get 6 points just off of turnovers from him immediately. It's like they just give you 16 points instead of 10 right from the bat. And they just put 3 turnovers in your favor.
But when you have the ball twice in overtime and you still can't do it, it's saying a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Pretty much what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
You're disappointed because you know that you can do it and you still haven't been able to.
I agree there, but I will also say the other end of that is I do like the direction in which they are going. Trading Hyde, giving Nick Chubb the keys to the car so they don't really got to worry about that anymore. And just, the attitude from the players, everybody just seems to be going in the right direction. And they've been in 4 overtime games. Those are 4 potential wins. Last year, not 1 overtime game, 0 wins. So, much better.
It's getting there.
Yeah. My biggest disappointment of the weekend, and I have to say it, is the Chicago Bears. I had them pegged as a sleeper team in the beginning of the year. They started out the year very strong. Almost beat Green Bay week 1. Then went off on a tear. It seemed like they were almost unbeatable. But, Sonny Michel went out with the injury early. Thank God it's not season ending. He'll probably be back after their bye, which is in 3 weeks. And but still, he went out early in the game. They got, Kenyon Barner there. Hogan was missing for a while. No Gronk. They had him on the ropes. They had a chance. The Patriots have not won away from home yet this year. And they had him, and this amazing defense and Khalil Mack and everything, and I just feel like they just failed. They should have put him away. Like, they should have just, against their defense is bad too, and it's in Chicago. They should have, to prove they're a team that needs to be dealt with, they should have put him away, and they didn't. They let him hang around, and next thing you know, boom, Tom Brady does his thing, and you still have a chance. You throw a Hail Mary, and the guy catches it, but instead of putting the ball over, he decides he wants to tuck it like he's a running back and run up the middle, or run. I don't know what he was doing. When you catch a ball like that and it's in your hands, you reach out over the goal line. You don't try to do what he was doing. And kudos to Josh Gordon for making that tackle to win the game, too.
Well, you know what? It was Kevin White who caught the ball, and he's only played like 4 games in his career. So he probably didn't even know what to do at that point.
Yeah, right. He's not used to that. He's all,
he's
crap.
Not used to doing that.
I'm healthy, and I caught the ball. What do I do?
I need 2 feet, right? It's not 1 like college.
Yeah. That was awful. All right, Anthony, who's another disappointing team? And after that, we'll move on. We got to move to NBA.
I think Josh mentioned the winner on that matchup, but the Eagles. You're at home, up 17-0, and you let Cam Newton construct 3 drives, 80 yards, 87, 16 yards in the fourth quarter. So you're talking about 3 drives that are lasting 5-6 minutes. They literally held the ball. If they would have got a few first downs offensively, they probably win that game. And now they dropped to 3-4, and now they're looking up at the Redskins, the top of the division.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's I don't want to say it's a Super Bowl hangover, but man, there's some issues going on over there in Philly, and
Carson Wentz is just not quite right. He just still does not look right. He's not as mobile as he was, and just those extra throws that he made last year, getting out of the pocket and being a little bit more mobile, are the difference in a win and loss. He's slinging the ball down the field. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey had a good game, but Nelson Aguilar has been nowhere since he's been back, and that was one of his favorite receivers last year. And he's just that mobility, and losing Ajayi, and
what'd you say?
Losing Ajayi, and you know what? I hate to say it, but Darren Sproles, not having him around either as a pass catching option out of the backfield, and going with your Wendell Smallwood and your Corey Clement, and can we say maybe Trey Burton made a big difference last year too in that offense as a number 2 tight end in blocking like he does for the Bears and everything. Now that you see it, I think so. So I think
you could even say Blunt with the charge of
that too.
Middle, too.
They're just missing a lot that they didn't have last year, and a little bit of a hangover, a little bit of injury, and maybe it was just luck.
Maybe it was Foles.
Maybe it's Foles. Maybe Foles is the answer. I don't know, but they are looking up at the Redskins in a division that, I hate to say it, but the Giants still have a chance.
Isn't it weird that like every other year the NFC East is just ugly, and some team makes it to the playoffs like 8-8?
It seems like that is the way it is.
Or even 7-9.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And yet it's the most written about division. It's the most written about division. It's the biggest division in football. Is the NFC East. It's crazy. Maybe because America's team is in there. I have no idea. But all right, guys. I don't have a button, but that was my best NBA theme song impression I could do at that point. It's time for the NBA. It's been here since last Tuesday. I've been watching for this week. I'm really into it. I think I'm more into it than I have been before. Watching all the teams. We have our fantasy league that we're in as well. Anthony and I faced off this week in our Monday Night Rants fantasy basketball points league that we're playing against, and I think he has the upper hand on me because he had a little bit more players playing than me tonight, but I'll get back at him.
There comes excuses. Here they come.
Oh, no, I got 5 pickups. I'll use all 5 of them, get those extra players. That's what I do.
And by the way, he did it to me last week, so you better watch out.
Yep. And I do my research, and I know who has the best matchup that day. All thanks to Fantasy Alarm, by the way. We don't just do football. We do basketball. We do baseball. We do hockey, NASCAR, PGA, MMA, WNBA. Yes, WNBA. Everything. And the basketball has been on point. I used the optimal lineups they put out tonight. I just threw them in a bunch of leagues. Won them all already. Cashed. So it's that easy. So check it out. And you get a free week, too, if you go to fantasyalarm.com/Rouse. That's my last name, RAUS. You get a free week and enjoy all the fruits of my labor. Why not? So, for free. So, NBA, what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about a few teams from last year that didn't make the playoffs that we think have a chance to make this year. Of course, that means 2 teams or a couple teams will have to not make the playoffs. We're going to talk about who we think is going to be the biggest disappointment of the year, surprise team that we think can make noise, our MVP, our defensive player of the year, our rookie of the year. I'm not going to do 6-man and all that. I'll come back. And then we're going to do our Western Conference predictions, Eastern, and finals. And then after that,
If someone marries me,
interesting defense
there's
pick.
hope for there.
There's hope for their poll of the week, which is NBA theme. So here we go. Moving on into the NBA never too late preview a week late into the season. I'm going to go of some teams, and we can talk about them a little bit, that I think that missed last year, that I think will be in the playoffs this year. And then if you guys, probably some of these may be the same. So if you have any that are different, let me know, and we'll talk about those too as well. So last year in the West, I have who made the playoffs and not making the playoffs this year. I only have 2 teams. I think everyone else will be the same except these 2. I don't have the Timberwolves going back. I just think there's too much turmoil going on between the team. I think Jimmy Butler's not going to make it another month, and their defense is not very good. And I don't like Utah. I'm just not excited about the Utah Jazz. Like, I can't. The last time I was excited about the Utah Jazz, Karl Malone, John Stockton, but they seem to be this team that always kind of like sinks into the playoffs, and that later, more than half the teams make the playoffs in the NBA, anyways. But it always seems to be like they make it somehow. Yes, they're really good defensively, but I look at the West, and the West is so offensively loaded. I don't think their defense can keep up with the amount of points that are going to be scored this year, so I have them missing. Now, the teams I have getting in are the Denver Nuggets, who missed last year, which I was surprised when I saw that because they're a solid team. They got the Joker, who was my number 1 pick in our fantasy basketball league, and I really like a lot of the young players they have, the nucleus they have, and they're exciting to watch. Some news, though, they did lose Barton tonight. He'll be out for 5 to 6 weeks with an injury. And that's, he was kind of their 6th man the last couple of years. He went to the starting role this year. But I think even without him, I think they'll be okay. And, the Clippers getting that 7 or 8 seed. They've already had a tough loss to Denver. They went out and beat Houston, which is something they haven't been able to do the last couple of years. And they did it kind of convincingly, really. Tobias Harris is man, talk about a player no one's ever heard of that's balling. And I just think they don't have that superstar because, Tobias Harris is a superstar, really. But I think their depth is a lot deeper than a lot of the other teams. And I think that's going to be the difference throughout a whole season to get them in that 7 or 8 spot. I'm not excited about them getting the 8 spot because I'm a Clippers fan and I don't want to go out in the first round of the Golden State Warriors. But that's who I have there. You guys agree, disagree, or have someone else there?
Yeah, I got the Nuggets, like you said, with Joker. Joker's just on fire to start the year. Gary Harris is playing really good at the guard position. So, yeah, I don't know how they missed it last year, but they're definitely going in. And I don't want to jump on the LA bandwagon, but I just think LeBron James, even though playing in the West is tough, he's going to somehow muster.
God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let you bask in it.
I knew something like that was coming. I was prepared for it. LeBron James is probably one of the greatest players of all time, and even though that team is young,
probably
the ball's not that great.
He's probably one of the greatest players of all time.
What I mean by it is in the upper echelon.
He has the potential still, guys, to be one of the best players of all time.
I need him to win more rings. Come on, no, yeah,
not going to happen.
He's okay, but
he has his moments.
He has his moments where he does amazing things, whatever. No, they're gonna find a way. LeBron's always gonna find a way. He's had some really bad Cavs teams he's taken to the playoffs. This Lakers team is young. They got a lot of young talent. They can't really shoot the three really well, but I think the Spurs missed it this year. This is finally that time. Just like with New England, every year it's like this is the end of the Patriots run. I think this is the year the Spurs run finally ends. They've had like 20-something plus consecutive playoff appearances, and I think this year they finally get caught up. So I think the Lakers take their spot, but even then they're going to make it in the 7-8 spot, and they're going to probably lose in the first round anyway. So whatever.
All right, Josh, you got anyone else that we haven't mentioned?
Actually, I was just going to pick one of each of yours is the Lakers and Clippers.
Oh.
Both LAs.
Whoa.
So the Denver Nuggets don't get in, or is there a third team, mystery team that doesn't get in?
I do think that the Nuggets do get in, but just they edge out. They're gonna. Let's see here. I had them edging out probably the Pelicans. Just
that's going to be interesting in a few minutes here.
Yeah, they're just. I'm just gonna say that they're just missing a couple pieces that they had last year. They don't have this year.
Okay, interesting. That's gonna be interesting in a couple minutes here, and I'll tell you why. As far as the East here, I have the Heat not making it. I'm still kind of confused on how they did make it last year, and Cleveland. Cleveland. I don't think Cleveland goes back. I mean, not without LeBron. They got George Hill as their point guard. I mean, come on. Ugh. Can I play that Michael Scott? God, no. Think again. Colin Sexton hasn't been very good, or at least from the eye test so far. Just the LeBron's band that he left. It's like when Creedence Clearwater, broke up, and now they're Creedence Clearwater revisited. No one wants to go see those guys. They want to see the Fogarty brothers, right? Come on.
What are you talking about?
It's like the new Journey band with a new Asian singer. It's not the same as the old. Okay. It's not the same. They're just not the same. Before they were selling out. Football fields, and now they're not. They're selling out nightclubs. It's just not the same. It's the same band of misfits without LeBron. They don't make the playoffs. They're not a chance. Not a chance. I'm not going to put a bet on that because I'm just not. But because the East is so bad. But I have the Pistons and the Hornets taking the place of those two teams. I like the Pistons. Blake Griffin, full year. Got a lot of pieces. Loved myself some Andre Drummond. He's going to lead the year in rebounding again. And, the Hornets Kemba Walker is such a beast. And it's just running the floor, as long as they can all stay healthy, because they have the issues with health last year. I think they easily edge out those two teams. You guys agree? Disagree? Have another one?
Oh, no, definitely agree. Yeah, the Pistons. Yeah, his issue always, and you remember when he was with the Clippers, is his health. But when he's on, he's one of the dominant forwards in the league. And then Charlotte, Kemba Walker, like you said, on fire. In a league full of top point guards, he gets lost in the shuffle, and especially playing in the East and in a town like Charlotte, doesn't get much talk about. But I think he's leading the league right now in scoring. It's only been a couple of games, but still, he is playing lights out. If they can get guys like Malik Monk and some of these guys to step up, they can make some noise in the East. That's not saying much because there's not a lot of good teams there. But still, as far as them as the Hornets, missing out the playoffs the last few years, that's a good thing for that team.
I agree as well. I mean, and especially with the addition of Biyombo. I mean, Batum, if he has to stay up, and you get Kaminsky starting to play a little bit better, you can really see a really good Hornets team.
Yeah, I like that. I like that too. So, you guys agree with those? Or you have any other East that we probably not?
No.
All right.
We can't even scrape the bottom of the barrel for that.
Cool. Let's go with disappointments. I want I'll tell you mine last, but what do you think is going to be the most disappointing team in the NBA this year?
I think the most disappointing team, and I think we all know it's easy pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Every time LeBron leaves, this is the second time he's leaving, and it's going to be
the new journey.
The new journey, yeah, with the bad lead singer, the cover band.
Yeah,
when you see at the bar at 1 a.m. and he's just horrendous.
It's like
someone like me.
It's like a Pearl Jam got rid of Eddie Vedder and was still Pearl Jam and went out there and tried to play arenas. Who would show up to that? Nobody. Come on.
Get him, Edward. Yes, I think the Cavs there. If you look at their championship team a few years back, and now the only guys that are left are Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson, who he's only famous because of the Kardashians, and a shirtless J.R. Smith. So that's pretty much what you have for the Cavs. He
should play shirtless. They would probably be better and draw more fans now if he literally played the game shirtless and they just like spray painted his number. You know what? At this point, he probably already has it tattooed on his back anyways. So
no, well, the thing with him is he gets these Supreme tattoos. He got dinged early in the year for having a Supreme tattoo on his calf, and they told him they had to cover it up. Like, he's a walking advertisement. They can't have him shirtless. He'll have like TGI Fridays on his
It's going to get fined.
Yeah.
TGI Fridays across the chest.
TGI Fridays says I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Man, don't give him that idea. But yeah, the Cavs, easy choice, but I have to put them on there. It's going to be bad there in Cleveland.
All right, Josh, who's your biggest disappointment team of the year?
Mine is the team that, try to find a name on it, is the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
The closest guy you have is what, Rondé Hollis Jefferson or Kenneth Faried?
No, you got D'Angelo Russell.
Oh, sorry, you got Russell. I apologize. You do have Russell.
Spencer Dinwiddie. That's a real person.
And hold on, Jared Dudley.
There you go. Yeah, they're going to be, I wouldn't say they're going to be the biggest disappointment of the year because they're always a disappointment every year.
Yeah.
But I like where you're going with this.
Thank you.
I'm going to go with this, and only because of the off-season hype and everything around it and all the big expectations of all the fans around the world, the Los Angeles Lakers. Biggest disappointment team of the year. Everyone is just shooing them in for the playoffs. The rivalry's reborn. The rivalry's reborn. Please, you're never even going to see the Celtics in the championship for the next at least 3 or 4 years. Shut up with that. The rivalry's reborn. Maybe the 2 games you get to play them a year where you lose. Maybe that'll be the rivalry. Just because LeBron went there doesn't mean they're magically going to go to the finals or magically be in the Western Conference Finals. They're going to struggle making the playoffs. The playoffs. He already has his first big movie contract as a star that's already come through. Space Jam 2 with more to come. He's more worried about going to his son's game and watching him slam dunk on other people all over the place. He is mentally almost checked out. His heart, his soul is not there like it was. And where's this leader where you got Brandon Ingram pushing people and Rajon Rondo haymakering Chris Paul in the face? By the way, the slow motion of that is incredible. It's like the famous fight slow motion with a punch hits. Yeah, screw you, Chris Paul. You deserve it. You don't, but you do. And so, where's the leadership there? It's already shown that it's not. It's these young guys are out of control. They're all mediocre at best, and he's just No. Biggest disappointment of the year is the Lakers, just based on expectations from everybody. If you're a Lakers fan, I don't care. Prove me wrong. Until you do, I'm right.
Wow. And did you see the funny part with LeBron? The first person he goes to reach, the first person he goes in that fight to grab, his best friend, his BFF, Chris Paul.
Not even his own teammate. Not even his teammate. Think about that for a second. If that was J.R. Smith last year on the Cleveland Cavaliers, who would he have grabbed? J.R. Smith.
They're in a wine club together, okay?
They probably are. They probably sit there in their rich basement and make their own wine. They're both, one guy's over here, and they're stomping on the grapes. So, Chris, how was your day? And he's like, oh, Bron, yeah. These grapes to be sure good, aren't they? Yeah. I don't know why I was old English, but whatever. Yeah, that's them. So, anyways, moving on. Let's go to the surprise sleeper team that can make noise in the NBA this year. I know Josh won't agree with mine. Anthony, who was yours?
You know, I kind of talked about them, a team that's going to make the playoffs that didn't last year, but the Denver Nuggets. The Joker he's an NBA star, a 7-footer that can dominate the paint. He can stretch out defenses and hit the 3 ball as well. Jamal Murray is a young guard who's playing really well. Paul Millsap, if he could keep this double-double going, this is a team that could probably slip in that 4 or 5 slot if they keep playing the way they're playing. Plus, they just beat the Warriors on Sunday, so this is a team to watch out for.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I'm really high on them this year. I think I could even see like a 4.
Oh, yeah.
Upper there, too, especially with Oklahoma. We don't know what we're going to get out of them. And, you know, I think the Russell Westbrook injury is worse than they're making it out to seem. So, yeah, I like that. Josh, who's your surprise team?
A team I would actually be surprised and be a nice up-and-comer would be the Orlando Magic this year.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
And I'll tell you why. I mean, you're looking, if you look at who they have and everything like that, they added Bamba, they have Aaron Gordon. They are starting to put pieces back into it that really are going to come together.
Yeah, they got Jonathan Simmons.
Yeah.
He was a Brooklyn Net. I bet he was happy to leave that situation. So, yeah, I like that. I think, did they make the playoffs last year, Orlando? They did, right? I think everyone makes the playoffs in the East. I don't even...
The Magic actually missed the playoffs last year.
Wow. You know what? They may be going back. That is a good. No, I'm surprised we missed that one. Good call on that one. My surprise team to make noise is the Pelicans, the New Orleans Pelicans. Yes, they have already played 2 games, including dominating Houston, and I mean dominating, and beating Sacramento handily. They're the highest scoring team in 2 games by far. And you say they lost a piece. The only piece they really lost was Cousins. But after he got hurt, they actually played better without him on the floor. And as long as Anthony Davis stays healthy, you added Julius Randle, and you added Elfrid Payton to back up Drew Holiday, who's had some injury history before. And what did Elfrid Payton do opening day? Well, he went out there and got himself a triple-double, son. And they got Jahlil Okafor now as backup. They got Mirotic as backup. They're solid team that has depth and star power at the same time in Holiday and Davis. I like them to be a surprise team. Not only do I like them to be a surprise team, I'll tell you how far I think they're going to go later in the program.
No. Here's the big... See, that first surprise about the Raiders is not it. I want to hear this next surprise. Holy cow.
All right, moving on. We're going to see just real quick on our MVPs before we go into the conference finals. We got to kind of run through them kind of quickly. I think we're all going to be on the same page on pretty much. I doubt we'll have 3 separate guys, but it's possible. Anthony, who's your MVP?
I'm going to be a homer. Sorry, guys. Kevin Durant, he's already won the NBA Finals 2 years in a row. He's finally get the regular season. The offense goes through him. Even with Boogie Cousins later on coming on, it's his team to run, and he's going to finally get that regular season MVP with the Warriors.
Okay, can't argue with you there. He's already won it twice. Or once or twice. He won MVP Finals twice.
Yeah, twice.
MVP
2 years in a row, but regular season once.
Okay. Yeah. Josh?
Actually, I'm going to go with the team that you just said and the person you just said, Anthony Davis.
No, that's mine. You can't steal that from me. How are you going to say they're not going to make the playoffs, then pick him to be the MVP?
Well, it doesn't mean that, one man can be an MVP when they make the playoffs, or can or not make the playoffs. I
Fair
mean,
enough.
When is the last time that happened? A team.
It's been a long time.
here, I'll make it easy, okay? I'll change mine. I'll say Giannis. But
But
Eddie and I
okay,
call him
you have to
Fred.
say his name correctly though, in order for it to count.
The Greek Freak.
There you go.
Great. That's it.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. I almost had it. Giannis
Exactly.
Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Okay, I give up. All right, that's fine. Man. Yeah, but we'll call him Fred. Like Josh and I call him Fred when we play him in fantasy. Like in DFS, like, oh, did you play Fred today? It was like, yeah, I played Fred. It's just so much easier to say. So from now on, if you watch the show and we say Fred, we're not talking about the Manchester United midfielder. We're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Greek Freak. All right. I like that prediction. He's actually in the top 3 of voting. I mean, he's going to be the team. And he's going to be everything. I mean, he's a triple-double waiting to happen as well. He can play any position on the court, which is absolutely amazing. And his wingspan is absolutely insane. And I think Milwaukee Bucks can make some noise too. I'm just not as high as them as I are on the Pelicans in the West. But yeah, I like that as a MVP candidate as well. And I'm not going to say James Harden. I'm saying Anthony Davis. Why? Because I'm high on the Pelicans, 1. And 2, if he stays healthy, he is, right now, the most dominant physical presence in the NBA. I'm not saying talent-wise. LeBron James. I'm just saying right now he's the most dominant physical presence. He can make threes, rebounding, blocks, steal, his defense. He doesn't foul out a lot. He draws fouls. He doesn't cause fouls. He is a beast. And if he stays healthy for a full year, there's no way he does not get the MVP at the numbers he puts up. 80 fantasy points night 1. He's just all across the board and everything. He's just fantastic. And if the Pelicans go as far as I think they're going to go, he's shooing for the MVP. Okay, let's go with the Defensive Player of the Year. Let's not give a bunch of stats on this. There's really only 2 guys. Let's just name them and think which one we think is going to win.
My pick is Rudy Gobert.
Go
Bear.
Bear.
Won it last year.
Go Bear.
Go Bear?
Go Bear.
Go Bear.
Go Bear. Go Bear.
Go Bear where? Go where?
Go Bear. His name is
Go
Rudy
Bear.
Gobert. He's French.
Yeah, go Bear.
I'm always Bear. You know me. I'm always shirtless, so I'm always Bear.
Yeah.
Right now you have to try to say Giannis Antetokounmpo because you got that name wrong.
Greek Freak.
Okay.
Fred.
No, my pick's Rudy. He won it last year, playing only 2/3 of the season.
Yeah.
No reason he's not going to be healthy this year. So a full season to him. The guy blocks. He leads the league in blocks every year. Rebounds. He has it locked down. I like the Jazz. I'm really big on the Jazz this year, so I think they're going to have a really great year. And usually, winners of each award typically come from the better teams, and I think the Jazz are going to be one of the better teams.
Yep, agree with you there.
I got Kawhi Leonard.
Nice. I don't even have to talk then. Great. Why? Because I have Kawhi too. I mean, it was one of the 2.
I mean,
Yeah.
He's showing a better Kawhi Leonard now that he's on Toronto. He's just a lot more elusive. He just feels like he has this energy about him that he just wants to play harder.
And he's already won the award twice playing for San Antonio. So that's also another good reason. So, yes, it's going to be a repeat from one of the guys who's won it the last 3 years. But that's no surprise. All right, we're going to move on. And the Rookie of the Year. Let's hope we have 3 different guys. There's a possibility we may. Anthony?
Let's see. I've butchered every name I've said, so hopefully I don't do this one.
Oh,
I'm already setting myself up. Luka Doncic.
I think it's Doncic.
Right?
Doncic.
Aw, you can't even give it to me, man.
Down for the one-on-one.
You know it's bad when you got DMX making fun of you. Let's just say I'm gonna call him Luka.
Okay.
Luka right now. I was concerned if the Mavericks were gonna play him and Smith together. They have been. He's actually been getting more minutes. Luka. He looks NBA ready out of all the rookies right now. He sees the floor well. He's smooth. He's able to shoot the ball really well. He's just like these European players when they come over. They're just NBA ready. They've already played so much professional ball. He was tearing it up over there in the Euro League. Won the MVP last year in his league. So Luka, transitioning to the NFL well, and he's going to be a guy that's going to average like 16 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. That's a phenomenal year for a rookie. So I'm going to say he's the winner this year.
Yes, sir. And on my fantasy team, I like it. Josh, who do you got?
I got DeAndre Ayton, actually.
Nice. All three of us have different people. I love it.
Yeah. And I'll tell you why is because you're talking about the first Arizona U of A guy drafted by Phoenix Suns. So he feels like he has something to prove. They've invested a lot in him with the number 1 pick overall, obviously. But I think he comes out and really gets the blocking and really tries to become a Anthony. Excuse me. He's just gonna be a powerhouse like Anthony Davis is. So
Anthony.
And
I was waiting for you to do that one. I was waiting for that soundbite.
Yeah, he's going to start really hitting the post up hard, getting the rebounds and what he needs to.
All right. I like that pick too, but my pick is neither one of those guys because I like my pick better. I'm going with the one and the only. The guy who's going to have the most minutes out of all the rookies guaranteed. He's going to have the most opportunities. He's going to have the ball in his hand more than any of the rookies, and that is Trae Young. He's already shown it in the preseason. Last night he went off. Trae Young is going to lead all rookies in scoring, not even going to be close, because he gets all the opportunities there for an Atlanta team that's made it known they're rebuilding, and they put a lot into Trae Young. Remember, they traded for him away Doncic. So they like Trae Young. He's going to get all the opportunities. Huge game last night. It continues. He's going to have the minutes. He's going to have the points. And I think at the end of the year, when we look back at it, stats matter. Playing time matters. I think Trae Young is the Rookie of the Year. All right, let's go into our predictions. We're going to go to the Western Finals first. We don't have to tell why because we've already said who the teams are. Let's just name who the teams are. Anthony, go.
I got, of course, the Warriors over the Rockets in 5.
Okay, Josh.
Rockets over Warriors in 6.
Oh!
Whoa! No, I want to hear this. I got to hear this. No.
Hey, they almost did it last year. Chris Paul got hurt. You never know what would have happened.
That is true. You know what? I can't be too much of a homer. Yeah, at that point in the series, the way they were playing, if Chris Paul never gets hurt, there isn't no repeat. I'm a man, and I can admit that.
Thank you.
I'm going to go with the Golden State Warriors in 6 over the New Orleans Pelicans.
Oh, my.
That's right. It's going to be a showdown of the Brow versus the State. It's going to be incredible, too. All right, let's go to the East.
I got the Celtics over Toronto in 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually have the Celtics over the Bucks in 5.
Like that. I had the Celtics over Toronto in 6 as well. Okay, the finals. We all have the Celtics, and we all have, 2 of us have the Warriors, 1 have the Rockets. Who wins, guys, and then what? Anthony?
I'm going to be popping my champagne bottle from Walmart for the 3rd year in a row and celebrating with a nice cigar for a 3-peat. The Warriors over the Celtics in 5, not even easy. Kevin Durant wins his 3rd straight MVP finals, and I'm getting drunk till 4 a.m. the next day.
Not even easy?
In 5? Oh, yeah.
You said not even easy. You mean not even hard, right?
Yeah.
What did you say about what? Watch your mouth, bud.
The moment down for the one-on-one.
All right, Josh, what do you got? Who wins, the Celtics or the Rockets?
I got Rockets in 6.
Okay, I like it. And I have the Celtics. That's right. The Celtics. The Boston Celtics will go to the finals this year, and they will take 4 losses to the Golden State Warriors. But I have it going to 7. Golden State Warriors in 7. See what I did there? Yeah, that's right. So there you have it. So we got the Warriors, and we have the Rockets. Josh trying to, upset the apple cart, I guess. But that leads us to the last segment of the night. Perfect transition. Because tonight on...
If someone marries me...
Interesting defensive
There's
pick. I
hope
like it.
for their-
That's right. There's hope for their poll of the night, Anthony. What do we have in store for us tonight?
Well, just kind of like what we did tonight, 2 out of 3 had the Warriors winning. I think for the most part, everybody in America is having the Warriors win. But what I wanted to know, what I wanted to ask Twitter world is who is the biggest threat? Who is the biggest roadblock for the Warriors to go for a three-peat? So I gave Twitter 4 picks last week. They came out and they voted, and we got an overwhelming winner in this one.
Overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and say the winner is Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes will give the Golden State Warriors the biggest roadblock for them to win. It has to be Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes could probably go on the court right now, win MVP, Rookie of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year. He probably will never lose a game, and he'll get voted into the NBA Hall of Fame next year. Am I right?
Oh, you stole my punchline.
All right, guys. Anthony?
So
if someone marries me,
interesting defense
there's
pick.
hope for there.
What we got?
All right, so our 4 choices were Josh's NBA Finals winner, the Houston Rockets. Next, we got the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then we had the Boston Celtics. And rounding in 4th, which I had a lot of controversy. There was a lot of comments being made about this 4th team, and I guess you could be interchangeable with
the New Orleans Pelicans.
Oh, you're a smart guy. You are a smart guy. No, I put in the 76ers.
Oh. Yeah, we didn't really talk about that much. They're kind of a shoo-in to make the playoffs in the East as like the 3 or 2 seed, depending on how they do with Toronto. But, yeah. I mean, Toronto would have been your other choice, but, I mean, they're so close, honestly.
And that's the thing about it. If Joel Embiid is healthy this year and Ben Simmons could somehow just get lucky and make a jump shot for once.
Hey, without that jump shot, though, he's really good. I'm not going to lie. He looks really good. For a big man like that, for a big man as big as he is to play point guard and pass like he can, is like freaking insane, man. And, and if Fultz can somehow, if they can get anything out of him and J.J. Redick makes threes, I mean, that team's tough to beat. All right, so I'm going to go ahead out on a wire and say that the Philadelphia 76ers were number 4 on this.
You're a good guy, man. They came in 4th with 5% of the votes.
5%. Hey, you know what? There is some love out there for Philly. That's good.
See?
Some Philly love. Yeah.
The Philly love.
It's real.
Not everybody in Philly are angry and mean and throw snowballs at Santa Claus.
Well, they have that park. They have that park with the giant love sign, so it's pretty much like one of those service announcements. So when you drive by it, you go, "Oh, I don't have to be angry all the time. There is love out there."
I mean, it is brotherly love.
Yes, yeah, exactly. They just try to remind you.
It's the opposite. It's like when you see a big guy and they call him tiny. It's the opposite. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy's 7 foot and you call him tiny. It's the same thing with Philly. There's no love. Those guys are brutal out there.
Dare you boo Santa Claus? All right, who's number 3?
Number 3, which I think kind of up in the air, the Thunder at 9%.
Ooh, okay. I can see that one too because of the other 2 teams I think we're both really high on. One of them, we have them all going to the finals, except for, close to. So, okay, I like it. I think the biggest thing was with Russell Westbrook. Do they rush him back? Does an injury linger? Or do they kind of say, okay, we have PG here. Do we kind of make sure it's healed all the way before we bring him? I think that's the biggest thing they got to worry about because they're telling us one thing and it looks like the other at this point. So we'll see how that works. Okay, who's number 2?
And then the number 2 team was the Houston Rockets at 24%.
Ooh, so Josh is in that 24% range right there, right?
Exactly.
Right. I think
and then
what they need is a Rondo. As long as every team has a Rondo, the Rockets won't get in their way. He'll just punch his way through them. That's
they'll spit and punch.
There was no spit.
Time.
That was bull.
There's no spit.
He spit on me. They're all sweaty and running around like crazy people, and there's sweat flying everywhere. And you're gonna say it's spit, please?
It was Ingram that did it. He spit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Man, I can't believe you don't have your buddy Chris Paul's back right now, man. You just leave him in the dust, huh? He is no longer your concern.
You know what we do to traders in America, Anthony?
Here we go. I want to hear it.
What we do to traders? We tie them up and put them on horses and slap the horse ass and watch them run away as fast as we can.
What?
pretty
So
much what I
kind of-
did watching Chris Paul get traded and leave the team.
Are you watching City Slickers?
Yes. Oh, that's a good reference because Billy Crystal is a very, very, very well-known Clippers fan. I like that. That's good. I'm going to give you a point for that. I don't know where the point button is, but here you go. All right. I like that reference. Okay.
That was the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That was good. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
So who's numero uno in this
Numero
poll?
uno, the number one spot, overwhelming at 62%. A team that's stacked, the Boston Celtics.
They are stacked. They haven't put up a lot of points like I thought they would, but man, Tatum looks good. Horford's playing really, really well. Gordon Hayward, he's been playing well. The injury looks kind of, not bothering him too much. I mean, he's kind of slowly working on his shot back a little bit, but still playing good minutes. Kyrie Irving looks like a NBA Jam's video game character, but is playing awesome. I don't know what he's doing, but it's just So I think they're the overwhelming favorite to win the East this year and overwhelming favorite to go to the finals. It's just how they play against either the Warriors or the Rockets, in our opinion, or the Pelicans, in our opinion, that chooses whether they win or can actually put up the type of numbers. But it all depends, I think, on the Cousins situation. When they choose to bring Boogie Cousins back, how well he plays and responds to the injury. From everything I hear, he's playing well in practice. Well, not playing well, but looking good in practice. He's starting to get everything back to form. And I mean, Cousins was the best player in basketball until he got hurt last year. So if that happens and he's there, that's an insanely really good starting five.
we're popping bottles, Edward. We're popping bottles that night, man. I'm going to Walmart and getting like 5 bottles of Brut.
Some Andres
for the Rockets?
for the Pelicans. So we'll see. I you know what? A lot of me, not a part of me, because a lot of me doesn't want to see them do it again, only because it's like I don't want to see the same team win over again. It's like why I'm so sick of the Patriots. It's like I like to see, and of course I would feel different if it was my team, obviously, and my teams never win anything, so I'm used to seeing other teams win all the time. But I just like to see new teams win. That's why I was rooting for the Brewers, because I wanted to see a new team win the World Series. I don't want to see the Red Sox win again. I've already seen them way too many times in the last 20 years. I don't want to see him win again. I don't want to see I guess the Dodgers would be a little better because they haven't won in so long, since the year I was born, or in the 80s. But I mean, come on, I want to see new teams in there. New teams. Let's get some new teams in there. Let's get the Pelicans versus the Toronto Raptors. Why not?
Oh my!
Why
Sounds
not?
horrible.
Or the Clippers versus the Philadelphia Phillies. Yeah, that'd be a good one. That'd be a good game, right?
It'll be Patrick Mahomes and the Clippers going head to head.
So yeah, good pull though. What do you got in store this week? Going back to football, I like it's halfway through the season. Let's do some MVP.
We already know who's going to win the MVP. Why do you even throw that little dangling fruit? We all know who's going to vote for the MVP. He's your favorite quarterback.
Phillip Rivers. How about non-quarterback players with the best chance to possibly win? I have someone calling me on Facebook. Non-quarterback players with the best chance to win. Oh, that's going to be Todd Gurley, hands down. Okay, I don't like that one either. We'll think of it.
We'll brainstorm. We'll brainstorm tonight. We'll brainstorm tonight, Edward, and we'll get something good.
Okay, yeah, we'll think of something. Until then, guys, we got to go. We're running late. Oh, Josh, what you got?
I was gonna say, who's your picks for the World Series? Who you got winning and how many games?
Oh, I got Boston in 7.
Anthony?
I got the Dodgers in 7 because I know my good buddy Juggles loves the Dodgers, so I'm gonna ride with my boy. He's my ride or die.
Jugs is crazy. He loves himself some Dodgers, that's for sure. Good old Jugs. By the way, if you haven't, check out Jugs on Twitter. It's at the Fantasy Clown. He's the only clown I've ever met that likes magic. He loves long handkerchiefs, and he is so serious about fantasy football, and he's really good at it too. So check him out at the Fantasy Clown on Twitter. Amazing follow. All right, Josh. Big secret here. I know you're holding this back, but you got the Dodgers in 6, don't you?
Actually, exact opposite in 6.
All right. He's a Red Sox fan, so there's no surprise there. But kudos to you and congratulations and enjoy the games.
Thank you.
Hopefully it stays dry tomorrow and we actually get a game in tomorrow. And it should be fun to watch, though, because two slug-type teams going against each other and both with 2 aces and then mediocre pitchers after that. So it should be fun to watch. So with that being said, be sure to check out Anthony and my podcast. We're recording Thursday. It'll be up Friday morning again. Brilliant podcast in Trust We Sports. In sports we trust. No, in Trust We Sports. Get that right or else you go to the wrong website. Trust me. And also, never Google Jugs the Fantasy Clown. Do not Google Jugs the Fantasy Clown, especially at work. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening. It's been a fun show tonight. We're going to keep this format going kind of into the next week as we talk about football. Probably we could even have a World Series wrap-up by then. We have no idea. And then we'll bring you some basketball updates as well. And then we got kind of like our mid-season coming up next week. So I think next week, Monday, we're going to do a mid-season report on the NFL as if who we think based on the records are going to make the playoffs, what we were right on, what we were wrong on, MVPs, all that stuff like that. That's why I thought maybe there's hope for the poll could be relevant in that situation. So mid-season report for the NFL next week, World Series update and more, and maybe even an appearance from Jugs. What? Mind blown. And next week, I'm going to open with a Raiders joke. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week. Until next time, always remember to spay and neuter. Not your kids. No. That's illegal. Your pets. Have a good night.